Thank you for purchasing a bin SumpPRO by Leading Edge Industries. This video will be a step-by-step process of how to install a bin SumpPRO on the existing power sweep in your bin. Begin by assembling the beater portion, coupler spacer, and adapter shaft using the 3" and 7/8 grade 8 carriage bolts and nylon lock nuts. If your kit came with the chain type connector instead of a spacer and bolts, use the chain and provide a master link to connect the beater and adapter shaft. Next, attach the provided U-joint knuckle to the beater using the 3" hex bolt and nylon lock nut. If your kit came with the sprocket type connector instead of the U-joint knuckle, use the chain and provided master link to connect the two sections. Attach the sprocket type connector to the beater using the 3" hex bolt and nylon lock nut. Measure from the center of the hole in the knuckle to the beginning of the stepped down portion of the adapter shaft and add an extra ½ inch. Next, remove the old U-joint knuckle from the gearbox output shaft. Remove the next bearing down the flighting in order to be able to pull the flighting away from the back shield. Measure down the flighting from the center of the hole in the gearbox output shaft using your previous measurement for the bin SumpPRO. Mark the flighting where you're needing to make your cut. Weld the flighting next to where you're going to cut the auger so the flighting doesn't spring. Using a chop saw, cut the flighting at your mark. If needed, rotate the flighting so you can make a cut from either side. Clean up the edges of your cut using an angle grinder. If you have an odd-sized inside diameter of the flighting tube, contact Leading Edge Industries and we will send you the correct size spacer so the adapter shaft fits correctly inside the flighting. Slide the assembled bin SumpPRO unit into the cut-off flighting. Slide the U-joint onto the gearbox output shaft. If the gearbox does not have a hole, be sure to drill through the shaft to be able to use the provided hex bolt. Reattach the disconnected bearing. Be sure to check for floor clearance underneath the auger. Weld the bin SumpPRO adapter shaft to the auger flighting. Install both bearings by snapping the two halves together over the bin SumpPRO shaft. Place the hanger bracket between the bearing and the back shield. Note that the configuration of the bearing hanger bracket can be changed and trimmed to fit the back shield as you see fit. Adjust the distance from the back shield so the sweep and beater are aligned, then tighten the nuts on the bearing bracket. Secure the bearings to the bearing bracket using the provided carriage bolts and nylon lock nuts. Offset the bearing holder by 5/8 of an inch to either side of the coupler for easier coupler bolt installation. Then mark the holes for the bearing bracket. Either weld or drill holes and bolt the bracket to the back shield. If you have a springland bracket, mark then drill holes through the top and bottom edges of the back shield. Use the 1-inch carriage bolts and nylon lock nuts to attach the springland bracket to the back shield. Adjust the angle of the back shield as necessary for sweep alignment and clearance. Run the whole sweep and beater to ensure alignment and check for clearance issues. Remove the bolts and spacer or coupler chain to be ready to fill the bin. Cut out the grate above the center sump hole to allow access for the installation of the secondary cutting system. Center and install the secondary cutting system and mark the holes using a Sharpie. Using a 3/8 drill bit, drill out the 4 holes for the secondary cutting system. Place the provided 1-inch carriage bolts and steel backer plate underneath the gate and secure the secondary cutting system using a nylon lock nut. Tighten down all 4 nuts to ensure the secondary cutting system is fastened securely to the gate. Open and close the gate to check for clearance on the secondary cutting system. Move the sweep into loading position, ensuring that the beater portion is only covering the back third of the central sump. Mount the coupler storage box on the outside of the bin using 2 self-tapping screws. Place the coupler spacer and bolts or coupler chain inside the storage box.